From the high-profile extradition of 2611 accused Tahawwur Rana to India's cautious but strategic trade moves with the US, here are the top news of the day in this news wrap. Tahawwur Rana, an accused in the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks, has been extradited to India from the United States. He arrived in Delhi on Wednesday night under tight security. Rana is considered a co-conspirator and close associate of David Coleman Headley. His extradition follows a legal process that has been ongoing for several years. More than 15 years after Mumbai was left scarred by one of the most devastating terror attacks in Indian history, justice appears to be inching forward. Tahawwur Rana, a key conspirator in the 2611 Mumbai attacks, has finally been extradited to India. The 64-year-old landed in Delhi late Wednesday night on a special aircraft from the United States after he exhausted all legal avenues to avoid extradition. Rana's arrival in India marks a significant milestone in the country's effort to bring all perpetrators of the 2008 attacks to justice. Those attacks, carried out by 10 heavily armed Pakistani terrorists, killed 166 people and injured hundreds more across multiple locations, including the Taj Mahal Palace Hotel, CST railway station, and the Jewish Center, Chabad House. A high security operation was activated as soon as Rana touched down in Delhi. Sources say he was moved to the National Investigation Agency's office in a bulletproof vehicle, part of a convoy under tight surveillance. Delhi Police's special cell and SWAT personnel were deployed to ensure no security lapses occurred during the transit. Rana is believed to be a close associate of David Coleman Headley, the Pakistani American terrorist who had carried out missions in Mumbai ahead of the 2611 attacks. Headley is currently serving a prison sentence in the US. During his trial, he testified that Rana provided both financial and logistical support for the Mumbai terror plot. Indian agencies have long claimed that Rana maintained strong links with Pakistan's inter-services intelligence, its army, and the Lashkar-e-Taiba, the terror outfit that orchestrated the Mumbai attacks. Interestingly, Pakistan has claimed that Rana is a Canadian national and has not held valid Pakistani documentation for over 20 years. Rana's extradition to India comes after a long legal battle. He was arrested by the FBI in October 2009 in connection with another terror plot, this time targeting a Danish newspaper. He was convicted in 2011 for aiding that plot and for supporting the Lashkar-e-Taiba, but managed to delay his extradition through appeals in American courts. All of those appeals were eventually rejected. Now back on Indian soil, Rana faces serious charges, including waging war against India, murder, criminal conspiracy, and forgery. Medical examination of Rana is happening inside the airport premises, and his arrest will soon follow. He would be then taken to Patiala House Court, and he will then be shifted to Mumbai, where senior officers will formally begin his interrogation. The United States has paused reciprocal tariffs on 75 countries, including India, while imposing 125% tariffs on China. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal said trade discussions with the US are progressing with caution. He added that India is aiming for a balanced agreement that addresses long term interests. US officials have said that India could still face tariffs depending on future negotiations.
I did a 90-day pause for the people that didn't retaliate, because I told them if you retaliate, we're going to double it. And that's what I did with China, because they did retaliate. So we'll see how it all works out. I think it's going to work out amazing. I think that our country is going to be at the end of a year or shorter, but I think we're going to have something that nobody would have dreamt possible.
Consideration for you and your advisors?
For a period of time, I wouldn't say this morning. Over the last few days, I've been thinking about it. I've been dealing with Scott, with Howard, with some other people that are very
In a significant diplomatic and economic development, US President Donald Trump on Wednesday announced a 90-day pause on reciprocal tariffs for 75 countries, including India, while simultaneously imposing a steep 125% tariff on Chinese imports. The move appears to reward India's strategic restraint and its ongoing efforts to build a bilateral trade agreement with the United States. India notably chose not to retaliate against earlier US tariff hikes, a decision that now seems to be working in its favor. While China faces severe penalties for its retaliatory trade practices, India is being seen as a potential alternative hub for global manufacturing as companies look to shift away from China's increasingly expensive export environment. A senior trade official noted the high tariffs on China could open doors for Indian exporters. We are optimistic but cautious. We are still watching how this plays out. However, the relief may be temporary. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, while clearly identifying China as a primary target, calling it the most unbalanced economy in the history of the modern world, also warned that countries like Vietnam, Japan, South Korea, and even India could be next if trade imbalances persist. Leaving the door open for future action, he remarked, it's about bad actors. The US will see. Back home, Indian Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal moved quickly to reassure Indian exporters, urging them not to panic. He emphasized that India is committed to a carefully negotiated trade deal that benefits national interests. Goyal stated, and I quote, "We are working with speed but not in undue haste. The goal is to get the right mix and the right balance." He added that India is seizing the opportunity to deepen trade ties with the US and that the bilateral trade agreement could more than double the current trade volume from $191 billion to $500 billion. The first phase of the deal is expected to be wrapped up by this autumn. In preparation, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry has reportedly expanded its NAFTA division, which handles relations with the US, Canada, and Mexico, reflecting the government's intensified focus on trade diplomacy. An official statement echoed Goyal's optimism. The team working on BTA is striving for the right balance. Exporters should focus on the silver lining in the current global environment. While the threat of tariffs still lingers, India's measured, proactive approach appears to be yielding dividends, at least for now.
India has withdrawn a transshipment facility that allowed Bangladeshi exports to third countries through Indian ports and airports. The decision was made due to congestion at Indian terminals. The move could increase costs for Bangladesh's export sector, particularly the garment industry. Bangladesh's commerce advisor held a meeting to consider alternatives, including shifting shipments to Sylhet and Dhaka airports.
Bangladesh in 2020, the transshipment facility extended to Bangladesh had over a period of time resulted in significant congestion at our airports and ports. Logistical delays and higher costs were hindering our own exports and creating backlogs. The facility therefore has been withdrawn with effect from 8th April 2025. And let me clarify here, I saw some reports. These measures do not impact Bangladesh's exports to Nepal and Bhutan transiting through Indian territory.
Bangladesh is racing against time to respond to a sudden and potentially costly decision by India to revoke a crucial trade route that had allowed Dhaka to export goods, mostly garments, to third countries via Indian airports and ports. The move, announced Tuesday by India's Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, that is the CBIC, is expected to increase both costs and headaches for Bangladesh's exporters, especially those supplying Western markets. But Bangladesh isn't taking it lying down. The government has already kicked off a series of meetings and emergency planning sessions to find homegrown solutions that will keep the country's ready-made garment sector globally competitive. Commerce advisor Sheikh Basiruddin, following a high-level meeting with industry stakeholders, said, "We are fully aware of the implications and we have already begun exploring our own infrastructure options. We are looking at using Sylhet and Dhaka airports more efficiently. The idea is to act quickly so that our apparel buyers don't suffer or shift orders elsewhere." Another round of talks led by the Commerce Secretary is scheduled to take place imminently as officials work to finalize a roadmap that minimizes the fallout. India's CBIC formally scrapped a 2020 circular that had granted Bangladesh the right to transport goods through Indian land customs stations to key export hubs like Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport. Until now, Bangladeshi exporters had been taking advantage of lower air freight rates and better connectivity from Delhi to reach buyers in Europe and the United States. However, that route is now off the table. India cited significant congestion at its airports caused by this transshipment arrangement, which reportedly clogged terminals and raised logistics costs for Indian exporters. Indian Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Ranveer Jaiswal emphasized that the move would not affect Bangladesh's trade with Nepal or Bhutan. Still, the timing raised some eyebrows, coming just days after Bangladesh's chief advisor Dr. Muhammad Yunus made remarks in China advocating for Beijing's economic sphere to extend through India to Bangladesh, which is a sensitive geopolitical area. Industry insiders warned that without access to Indian airports, especially Delhi, costs will climb quickly. Currently, it costs around $3 per kg to ship garments directly from Dhaka's Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport to Europe. Currently, it costs around $3 per kilogram to ship garments directly from Dhaka's Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport to Europe. Through Delhi, the same goods could be shipped for as little as $1.20 per kilogram, even after a grueling 1,900-kilometer truck journey via Benapole and Patrapole. Farooq Hassan, the former president of the Bangladesh Garment Manufacturers and Exporters Association, said, and I quote, "That cost differential is what made Indian transshipment so attractive. The volume of cargo using this route wasn't massive, but the strategic value was huge. It's a real setback." An estimated 1,000 to 1,500 tons of Bangladeshi ready-made garment products are shipped monthly to Western markets through Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport, according to airport officials. Indian garment exporters have long expressed frustration over the same issue. In fact, back in February, India's Apparel Export Promotion Council formally requested the revocation, arguing that Bangladesh's cargo was clogging Indian terminals and driving up air freight costs for Indian exporters. Originally, the transshipment facility was limited to Kolkata. The 2020 circular that opened Delhi's airport to Bangladeshi goods may have simply overextended the system. Faced with this new reality, Dhaka is now recalibrating. An official from Bangladesh's Ministry of Commerce who attended Tuesday's meeting said, and I quote, "Beyond using Sylhet and Dhaka airports, we are looking into optimizing warehousing, customs procedures, and export routes within our own borders. We need to find ways to absorb the cost without passing it on to the buyer." Sylhet Airport, which remains underutilized, is being considered as a backup hub, while HSIA in Dhaka will likely undergo a fast-tracked review of its freight tariffs to make it more appealing to foreign buyers. While Bangladesh is working on short-term fixes, the long-term solution may require more dialogue and diplomacy. Several officials hinted that Bangladesh may approach India through diplomatic channels to request a review of the decision or to renegotiate alternate terms. A senior Commerce Ministry official told reporters that we are not closing the door on India. We'll do what we must to protect our industries. But we also believe in finding regional solutions through conversation, not confrontation.
On your question of the minorities, this particular issue came up for discussion. We have conveyed our concerns regarding treatment of minorities, the kind of violence that has happened against them, and we also highlighted and we have been doing this in several of our conversations, including when we had the meeting in Bangkok, that these violence and atrocities against the minorities cannot be just wished away or said that they are because of political reasons or they are media exaggerations. So we hope that the Bangladesh government will take strong action against those who are responsible for these atrocities. There are 54 rivers which are shared between India and Bangladesh. Now, to discuss all relevant issues, water issues, we have a mechanism, a bilateral mechanism, which is called Joint Rivers Commission. We are ready to discuss all issues provided that they are mutually agreed upon and provided that the overall environment is conducive for this.
Anurag Bajpayee, CEO of US-based firm Gradient and an MIT graduate, has been named in a police investigation involving an alleged prostitution ring in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Authorities say Bajpayee is one of over 30 individuals under investigation. The case includes clients from various professions, including healthcare and law. The investigation is ongoing. An MIT-educated CEO of a billion-dollar startup was arrested in connection with an elite brothel operating out of upscale apartments near Harvard. This isn't the plot of a crime thriller, it's real, and it's unraveling in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Let's break down everything you need to know about the shocking case involving Anurag Bajpayee, the Indian-American tech entrepreneur now at the center of a luxury sex trafficking probe. Earlier this year, law enforcement agencies in Boston launched a sting operation targeting a high-end brothel ring that reportedly served an elite clientele. We are talking doctors, corporate executives, government contractors, and yes, tech CEOs. The operation uncovered a prostitution racket functioning out of luxury apartments in Cambridge, just a stone's throw from Harvard University. These were no ordinary transactions. Clients allegedly paid as much as $600 an hour, about 50,000 rupees, for sexual services, mostly with Asian women. Before gaining access, clients were required to submit personal identification, references, and even workplace credentials. That's how tightly controlled and secretive the network was. Authorities are now sifting through detailed records of over 30 prominent individuals involved, leading to a series of legal proceedings now dubbed the Cambridge Brothel Hearings. So who exactly is Anurag Bajpayee, and why has his name sent shockwaves across industries? Bajpayee is a highly regarded Indian-American engineer and entrepreneur. He completed his schooling from La Martiniere College in Lucknow in 2003 before moving to the US for higher education. His academic credentials are sterling. He earned both his master's and PhD in mechanical engineering from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, one of the world's top universities. In 2013, he co-founded Gradient, a clean tech startup that has now grown into a billion-dollar enterprise focused on water sustainability. His innovations were so impactful that Scientific American once named his work among the top 10 world-changing ideas. He began his professional journey in research roles at MIT and the University of Missouri before becoming the face of clean water innovation in America. Despite his spotless academic and professional record, Bajpayee is now one of the high-profile names revealed in recently unsealed court documents connected to the brothel case. He was arrested earlier this year in the Boston area and is facing misdemeanor charges, not felonies, related to soliciting sex. Several other local CEOs are reportedly facing similar charges. While the legal outcome is still pending, the charges alone have raised serious ethical and reputational concerns. What does this mean for Gradient, the company Bajpayee co-founded and led? So far, the firm is standing by its CEO. In a public statement, Gradient spokesperson Felix Wang said, and I quote, "We believe in the justice system and are confident that this will resolve favorably in due course. Unrelated to this, Gradient will continue to pursue excellence in technological innovation and to strive towards our mission to ensure clean water for all society." End quote. Behind the scenes, however, there are reports of internal pressure, including discussions about Bajpayee's possible resignation. As the legal proceedings continue, questions loom large, not just about individual accountability, but also about the intersection of power, privilege, and secrecy. We will keep tracking the story and bringing you the facts. That's all for today, but before we leave, here are visuals from a procession held by the Jain community in Daronda as part of the Mahavir Jayanti observances. The event saw participation from local devotees and community members.